very much, Hezron Kimari, for that report. Now we want to delve into the Bodaboda sector. And this is a very vibrant sector in this country, employing Kenyans in the millions. Question is, whatever happens in the Bodaboda sector actually has a direct impact and correlation in our economy. When we look back during the campaigning season, in fact, there was a dedicated, pivoted approach to the sectors Bodaboda in regards to propositions. Why you should voters in office, that is from the leader's perspective. And after they were elected in office, I don't know whether there's been much discussion, but right now, to help us put all this into perspective, I'm joined by Kevin Mubadi, who is the chair of Bodaboda Association of Kenya. Thank you very much for making time to speak to us.
Thank you very much for welcoming me in your studios today.
Yeah, good to see you, Kevin. For starters, how big is Bodaboda sector in Kenya? How many members do you guys have right now?
Okay, in the sector right now, we have over 2 million people on the motorcycle as a Bodaboda business.
Okay.
So the sector that, and the majority of them are, we can say like 80% are young people, below 35 years.
Below 35 years.
Yes.
And in terms of that demographic distribution, are there areas of high concentration, areas of low concentration, and why?
Yes, when you look at Western region, and when you go to the counties, you can look at Kakamega, Trans Nzoia, Bungoma, coming to Kisumu in Nyanza. Those are heavily populated areas with the bodabodas, because the bodaboda started from Western, Busia border to border. That's where the name came from. Then we look when you look at the lowly populated areas, Northeastern, because of the nature of their terrain and the culture also. So the bodaboda businesses, the numbers are low.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. 2 million people, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know during the elections, I was observing and people were talking to Bodaboda. In fact, even the slogan became Mama Mboga and Bodaboda.
Yes.
I mean, just reflecting on those times, how do you think the Bodaboda, how critical is it in Kenya's economy as a sector?
When you look at Kenya's economy, first of all, when you look at politically, Bodaboda sector is shaping the political arenas, because these people, they are young, they are people who go to vote once they are motivated. So, and many politicians, they tend to use them for political reasons. That's when you want a good musafara, that is motorcade with the bodabodas, you use them. If you want to excite the crowd, and you need to have the bodabodas around you. But these are some of the things that we are trying to change as an association. We are telling our people that now this is your office and you need to respect it. Because when you look at some other years, you'll find that during campaigns, people used to use bodaboda to cause chaos and mayhem and all those things. But as the years have been evolving, we have been seeing changes. Even if they come, they are peaceful and all those things. So the sector has come of an age.
All right.
And economically, and it's a huge sector that is boosting the Kenyan economy.
Definitely. I mean, employing 2 million people,
Yes.
that is massive.
And those are people with the degrees, we have people with the diplomas, we have people who have not gone to school. You have all, long ago they used to say that Bodaboda is a business for people who have not gone to school, dropouts and all those. But right now, when you look at the sector, in my office, you find that we have so many people with the degrees and PhDs, but there's no jobs, so they tend to do the Bodaboda business.
All right. Let's start on the key issue that the country is discussing right now. And this is the finance bill, 2024. Quite a number of propositions right there. I know the biggest that everyone has been talking about is the issue of bread, which is a big one. The issue of motor vehicle tax, which is a big one. But when you go through the document, of course, there are small tenets, matters VAT, matters to do with the excise duty, that a lot of people are not shouting on, but if at all they pass, they'll have a lot of negative effect. Talk to me about the Bodaboda sectors, you as a sector going through that document.
As a sector, when you look at that document, it will affect us directly because when they put VAT on the motorcycles, that means the prices has to go up. And you remember when Kibaki was the president, he removed VAT on motorcycles. That's when the Bodaboda business bloomed. But right now, they started introducing new taxes into the Bodaboda sector, and it has been making this motorcycle to go higher and higher. Motorcycle in 2014, it was around 110,000, 120. But right now, when you go to the shop, a motorcycle is 170 for you to purchase a new motorcycle. Now, when they will add on more taxes on it, for example, VAT 16%, again, it will have to shoot maybe to 200,000. And you find that many young people don't have that money. This is someone from school. He doesn't have any other hustle. His parents or whatever, they were poor. They just struggle to take him through school, high school. So they can't afford this 200,000 again to buy that motorcycle. So that bill will affect us. So we request, and we think the chair for finance committee will look at that. For the sake of the young people of this country, they have to make sure that they remove those areas or aspects that are making the cost of motorcycle to go up, so that it can be cheaper, and they'll get taxes from the fuel we consume. Because the more we consume the fuel, you know, a motorcycle I'll buy once, but fuel I'll consume it for the rest of the years this motorcycle will be on the road. And we have taxes on fuel. So it is better they remove from the motorcycle, allow many young people to buy motorcycles and use them daily, and generate income from the taxes they'll get from the fuel.
I see that. I mean, seeing this from the government's perspective, because it seems the government is actually very keen on raising revenue. As you can see from this proposition, is about how can we make money. And our economy, as we all know, it's very informal in many ways. So one of the areas, of course, you tax is through those consumption taxes, as you've spoken about. You're consuming fuel, we tax you. You buy bread, we tax you. But the idea is, like Bodaboda sector, it's very informal. Is there a way that you've seen as an association, effort from the government to sort of formalize the sector to bring everyone into the tax net, especially taxing income?
Okay, bringing them in taxing income is very difficult because who is the employer? If you want to say maybe you are looking at the income tax, who is the employer? Bodaboda is a self-employed person. So that route is very difficult for the government. The only place the government can make money from the Bodaboda sector is through the consumables, the spare parts, the oil, the fuel. But how will they get that? They must first of all give with this hand, then take it with another hand. But if they take everything, then it will be difficult for them. So what they should do, they should reduce the cost of the motorcycle, let it be cheap, let everyone be able to afford it. Because when you look before 2012 or before 2002, you will find that the motorcycle were very expensive. And the only people who use this motorcycle were people from the water companies, the Kenya Power Company. Those were the only motorcycle people that could afford a motorcycle. Because for me, I used to see a guy from Kenya Power who was the one riding a motorcycle in the whole village. But right now, when the Kibaki came in, he removed the taxes, the motorcycle became cheaper, assembling started happening in Kenya, and many young people joined the Bodaboda business, you see. So that way, even if you look at the curve of the revenue on fuel consumption, I'm sure the curve went up because now many people are consuming a lot of fuel. Now the government can get taxes from the fuel that they're consuming. Then we have the spare parts. We have the people now have money to buy bread. They have money to buy sugar, build houses, take their children to school. So there was that circulation of money to the people. But now when these things, when the taxes are imposed on this motorcycle, and the prices goes up, it means that I may not afford to buy, so I'll be there begging on the road every day, and or calling my relatives to give me money so that I can be able to survive. Or I'll sleep hungry because I don't have money to buy even that bread or that sugar that I should consume at home.
Definitely.
So this is where the government should look at very keenly and see, okay, if also the government wants to support the young people of Kenya creating employment, how do we create employment? You can't create employment by making that employment difficult for people to access. You create employment by putting measures and policies that enable all people that you lead under you to access those doors that open the employment opportunities.
All right, definitely. We want to take a short break, yeah? But in studio we have Kevin Mubadi, who is the chair of the Bodaboda Association of Kenya, and he says that the way this bill sits, it's borderline punitive to the sector if it passes as is. In fact, there needs to be a different approach in regards to the way we support the sector, since it employs close to 2 million Kenyans, and these are young people, majority of the people who are very young participating in this sector. Maybe some even who've tried finding employment and they're not able to. We take a short break. When we come back, we still address quite a number of developing issues in this sector. Matters to do with Bodabodas disappearing, for example. The issue of ethical issues within the sector and how we can streamline those to make Bodaboda even better in the country. Stay tuned.